Good afternoon. I'm CJ Davila. I'm the Executive Director of the Florida Green Building Coalition. Our host for today, the moderator, Peggy Christ, is having some issues logging on this morning, so she'll join us momentarily. But I'll go ahead and get everything started. Today's webinar is on accessory dwelling units. Actually, Peggy's just ringing in.
Kids.
Hey, Peggy, I was just kicking you off. If you want to go ahead now, you're good to go.
Yes. Okay. All right. Matt, thank you so much. All right. So hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for these Lunch and Learns webinars that we do. These webinars are provided by the Florida Green Building Coalition, otherwise known as FGBC. My name is Peggy Christ. I am co-chair of the Realty, Appraiser, Builder Outreach Committee, and I'm also on the board. I'm also a green broker. Our committee goal is to provide these free webinars as a way to help build FGBC's membership and reach. There are a few things I would like to mention before we begin. The recording of this webinar will be available on our website, FGBC's website, and our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, as this will help us reach more people. You'll all be muted, so please ask your questions in the Q&A and not in the chat. Please also complete the survey at the end so that we can monitor results and help plan future webinars. Now, a little bit about FGBC. FGBC is a nonprofit dedicated to improving the built environment. Our mission is to lead and promote sustainability with environmental, economic, and social benefit. We do this through these regional education and certification programs. Please consider becoming a member. And you can see on our website what all benefits we provide for that. So I ran into Matt Ross, who's going to be speaking for us today. Matt is the president and founder of Eco-Smart, a wholesale distributor of healthy, efficient, disaster-resistant construction materials for commercial and residential construction. Matt was retired. He was raised in Sarasota, so he's born and raised here. He attended Sarasota Pineview School for Gifted for 10 years. Then he attended Duke University and Naval ROTC. And then after graduating, he spent 4 years as a naval officer. Thank you so much for your service, Matt. And final 2 years working in the naval largest data processing command in Washington, D.C. After completing the naval service commitment in 1988, he worked on computer systems design consulting before starting energy conservation products in 1993. In 1994, Ross transformed the company into Eco-Smart, Inc., a one-time stopping source of green, sustainable construction materials, developing a relationship with nonprofit Florida House Institute for Sustainability Development, which he is still currently a board member of. I ran into him because I get a lot of people asking me about these ADUs, and he specializes in these ADUs. He's going to be giving us a presentation on eco-friendly accessory dwelling units. That's what ADU stands for. Small homes designed to outperform conventional homes. And Matt, I think I'm going to turn it over to you and let you teach us.
Thank you so much, Peggy. I appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen and start the presentation right here. And here we go.
Cool.
So we're combining this presentation on accessory dwelling units with an overview of our structural insulated panel system, which is the key to the high performance of these ADUs. We call it Secure Lock. About Eco-Smart, Peggy gave a pretty good review. Been in business since '93, one-stop green construction supply. We distribute, but we also install systems with contractor partners. Peggy mentioned the Florida House Learning Center and the Florida House Institute really inspired us to move from just energy efficient lighting, where we were in '93, to this concept of bringing all kinds of different sustainable construction materials to the marketplace. My background's in engineering and computer science, and I was raised an environmentalist, so I just love what I do. When we select materials, we want to have efficient, healthy, disaster-resistant materials. That's how we define sustainability, reducing maintenance and construction time, operating costs. If it's not capital cost saving, if it's not saving money up front, then at least creates positive cash flow. And I'm probably preaching to the choir somewhat for you green people out there, but also locally available and supportable is very important. Structural insulated panels. Secure Lock is our private label for a steel skin structural insulated panel. This is used for walls and roofs, and in some cases floors. It's fire resistant, seismic, hurricane, mold, pest resistant, energy efficient, and has all kinds of Florida building approvals you'll see in a moment. The benefits of this type of construction: it's faster, it's stronger, has fire ratings, no termites, pests. There's no food source, there's no wood. You can build a home or an ADU with absolutely no wood inside using steel studs instead of wood studs for the interior framing. We can finish it conventionally. We've been evaluating alternative construction systems for 30 years. And it's very important that the next trade that comes along doesn't have to be retrained. So you'll see as we go through this presentation, it's finished conventionally, makes it easy to build with. We can do construction up to 3 stories with no additional structural support. You'll see some pictures of some multi-story buildings going up. And we always recommend the Florida Green Building Coalition certification. And if you use Secure Lock, you're well on your way to getting that certification. It makes it easy. Here are some of the building code approvals that this structural system has. What type of buildings can you build with Secure Lock? Residential, commercial, multi-story. This is a townhouse development in Clearwater that's built with this system. Here's an example of a home on the left-hand side here. This is the panels are typically white, and then when it's finished, this was finished with siding and roofing. And you cannot tell that it was not built with concrete block or wood framing. Here's an example of a home we designed for a builder in Northport. Single slope roofs make structural insulated panels less expensive, so you don't require trusses. This is kind of a modern design. Here's a picture of a home going up. You can see the 2-story tall panels here. And here are the roof panels. There's no truss required, just spans to the beam in the center for simple designs like this. Here's an example of how the product is finished on the inside. Here's your structural insulated panel. Steel skin on 2 sides, expanded polystyrene foam core. There's just a metal furring or hat channel and drywall, and the electrical goes behind the drywall. So it's finished as normal. You can attach roofing directly to the metal roof panel. You can screw down metal roofing. You can even glue down asphalt shingles, and stucco can be applied directly to the outside. Siding can be screwed directly to the metal panels on the outside. So how does a contractor build with structural insulated panels? I've got a video that CJ is going to bring up now, that a little time lapse to give you a feeling for how fast this product goes up. Yeah, here we go. So this is a small commercial building called a Power Smart Garage, a little 2-story building. You'll see how light the panels are and easy they are to handle. There's their 2-story tall panels. This was all done in one day. I've got, later in the presentation, I'll show you an ADU, a 12-hour construction of an ADU.
Good. Boy, they sure do work fast.
Yeah, they're quick. There's music to this video, but I think I've chosen to mute that. So here you can see that when you're hanging a floor system, the buckets that the floor trusses go in are just screwed directly to the metal. So you got metal on both sides to attach things to. Here they're using the structural insulated panel as a floor.
And you say this went up in a day?
Mhm. Now they screw the roof panel straight through the top plate that's on the wall panel. So very simple to attach. And you see that's a very long panel. They're handling it pretty easily.
Yeah. This one went up in a day?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, got about a minute left in this presentation or this video. Now they're installing the windows. Attaching interior siding. Skylights. And there's your completed project.
Cool.
Okay, here I am. Go back to my screen. So that's an example of how easily and quickly the product can be installed. Let's see if I can get back to my presentation. There we go. So here are some other types of structures, and this is what we wanted to talk mostly about today in terms of structures. These are accessory dwelling units. We've got a partner who's an architect. He currently lives in the Bahamas in his own secure lock house that he built there. His is about 3,000 square feet. It took 6 days. 3 days were to build the floor structure. It's elevated on pilings. I've got a presentation on that, but not today. So this is a 576 square foot ADU. It's the same structure, but you can see there are different finishes, different porches, different siding for different looks. Here's the floor plan, and this was designed by a company called Barrier Structures. That's our partner who's currently in the Bahamas. Want to let you know that these are just some of the designs they put together. We've got them on our website. Can be modified in any way that you'd like. It can be bigger. The interior partitions can be changed and moved around. It's very flexible. So this is a 2-bedroom. It's got a kitchen here and a living room on the right. That's your 576. The seaside is just a slight variation on that, a little different in the bathroom section, but just an example of how you can change the interior. This is the 576 carriage house, which is over a 2-car garage. So same structure you just saw on top, 2-bedroom, kitchen and living room, but a 2-car garage beneath. Here's a 512 square foot elevation and floor plan. That's now 1-bedroom in a smaller living area. Here's a 384, a very popular unit. This is a 16 by 24, 1-bedroom, little common area, bathroom, small kitchenette. And the 384 as a carriage house, so single car garage, same structure over a single car garage, build a little porch out here. And here is the last of our current designs. It's kind of in-house, 192 square foot office ADU. So office space, restroom, storage. And I want to stress that the purposes for an ADU, of course, it can be a mother-in-law suite, a rental property, but they are hurricane resistant. And as we'll see later in the presentation, you can take them off the grid. So you have a hurricane shelter, a storage facility, a rental property, a mother-in-law suite, etc. How much do ADUs cost? This is a pretty common question. So here's the 384. This is the structural system. These are insulated impact windows. This is the labor to install that through our current contractor partner. So the shell materials themselves, about $60 a square foot. You'll see as the ADUs get larger, the dollars per square foot go down because the floor space becomes greater relative to the wall height. So your dollars per square foot are higher in the smaller units. So this is the installed shell. about just a little less than $100 a square foot on the smallest one, about $70 a square foot on the largest one. That's installed shell with windows. This is the completion, the slab and completion. That's the labor, and then finishing, all the finishes, flooring and cabinetry and appliances. Right here, this shipping, and we have a design fee that we pay our design partner. There's a subtotal. We built a real estate commission in. Let me move myself over here. So you can see these range from 100 to 185,000, all in turnkey. These are the dollars per square foot.
That's good. That's good, because I've got 3 clients right now thinking of putting ADUs on their property. Down here, our whole area is approved for it. Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete, Manatee. But they have to be subdivisions that don't have deed restrictions.
Right. And these are estimates of cost. We can, and I provide that broken out because some people want to finish it themselves. That's fine. We can put up the structure, whatever you want, and you can finish the rest. Here is a 12-hour build. How do I move this? Okay, there we go. I'm over on the side now. So this was actually done in Argentina back in the 90s. These structural insulated panels have been around for 30 years. So it's not new, and they're not going anywhere. We've actually got builders now who are starting to make them standard on the west coast of Florida. So first hour, the house kit is delivered and unloaded at the project site. Now the slab was already there. The panels are sorted. Hour 2, hour 3, they put the receiving track. That's a U channel that's mounted into the slab. 3.5, the first wall panels are going up, placed by 2 workers. Here we go, hour 5, they got 50% of the exterior walls up. Hour 6, they finished the final wall panel. They've got the completed walls now. They put the center roof bearing wall installed. Hour 7. Hour 8, they start putting the initial roof panels on, no special equipment required. Hour 9, front roof panels installation complete. Hour 10, finish the back roof, and they're starting to install the windows into the pre-cut openings. Hour 12, the trim is completed and the house is ready for the interior finishes. 12 hours.
Fabulous.
That's a 576. Very same as our first design I was showing you. So we include with any secure lock home or ADU an energy recovery ventilator. Some of you may be familiar with this, others not. We want positive pressure and fresh air. That's part of the building science that we've learned. So we're bringing in outside air, bringing in hot, humid outside air, but the inside air that's already been cooled and dried is exhausted, and the 2 air streams cross in this core, which reduces the heat and humidity of the incoming air. So you've got fresh air and positive pressure without fully loading it with heat and humidity. So we recommend these with every one of our secure lock homes, including the ADU. Let's take your ADU off the grid. Here are some elements that we can offer. This is a passive solar water heater. It's a preheater, no moving parts. It preheats the water with the sun on the way into your standard electric, gas, or tankless water heater. This unit is made in Austria, very reasonably priced. It's fairly small, about 3 foot by 7 foot. We sell solar electric systems and batteries, so we can make that a really off-the-grid emergency shelter that always has power. You could put the solar on the roof, or we have this residential size dual axis tracker that holds about 1.2 kW of PV, and it tracks the sun horizontally and vertically. So it adds about 40% to your power generation versus fixed panels like this. Oops, I went too far. Down here, we have a solar air conditioner, which is basically a very energy efficient mini split that can be powered with 2 PV panels. We always recommend mini splits for the ADUs anyway. So here are the benefits of the secure lock structural insulated panel construction. We have fire, seismic, wind, mold, pest resistant, higher efficiency, lower electric bills, faster construction. We're eliminating a number of trades, probably 3 or 4 trades being replaced with 1 with that shell system, lowering maintenance, insurance costs, healthier. We provide positive media attention, of course, reduced environmental impact, and it gets you well on the way to your Florida Green Building Coalition Green certification. what are the next steps? If you're interested in an ADU or other type of construction, you can contact us at this number or this email. We can quote these systems from your building plans or work with your architect to develop one, or you can use some of our plans that we already have. We'd like you to keep in mind that it saves home and building owners money to build with EcoSmart first month, every month. There's not a payback period. It's positive cash flow.
Hey, Matt,
Yes.
I did get a question. Are you selling the structure without the finishings, and which I think you addressed, finishings and subcontractors work? What are the purchase and delivery terms?
So yes, of course, we can provide the materials alone. We can provide the materials plus subcontracting for the shell. We can provide the materials plus subcontracting for the shell and any other of the finishes all the way to completion. So the consumer, the buyer, gets to choose what services and products they want from us. The terms, these are generally prepaid for the materials, and there'll be a deposit on the labor and balance on completion. That would be typical terms.
And they also ask, how does this rate for tornadoes?
Well, the wind resistance of this system, if you just build it normally without any additional particular features, is greater resistance than concrete block and wood frame construction. These are all engineered systems, the structures, so that it's engineered to meet or exceed the building codes. In the Bahamas, I mentioned our architect partner designed those ADUs. His house, he engineered to exceed a Cat 4 165-mile-an-hour hurricane. So I mean, tornadoes and hurricanes, it's just a wind level, but to increase the wind resistance, the attachments where the base, the U channel attaches to the wall panel, you might use the screws would be closer together. But our engineer is going to tell us or tell the client exactly what's needed to increase the wind resistance.
And they ask, how is the soundproofing for the secure lock system?
Secure Lock has an STC that is greater than conventional materials. So that the Secure Lock house is quieter inside. Whether you're near a highway or an airport, you will not hear as much sound in a Secure Lock home as with a conventional home.
And has indoor air quality been tested for potential off-gassing?
Yes, there's no off-gassing from these materials. And your biggest concern for indoor air quality is the things you're doing in the home and the other materials you have built into your home, which is why we always recommend that fresh air positive pressure system, so that you're not trapping whatever things you have in the home that are creating indoor air quality issues. You're doing fresh air exchanges and pushing that air out.
Okay, and then they said, oh, wait 1 second, where'd that go? Why is that not coming up?
That's been recalled, Peggy, so you can move on to the question and answer ones.
Okay. Is that an international building code?
Yes, ICC approval.
Okay. And are there models we can view? If so, where and how to make an appointment?
Okay, so we don't have ADUs that are built in Florida right now. There are a number of homes in over 30 years. There are probably 1,000 structures in Florida that were built with this type of system, the steel structural insulated panel, but they're owned by a variety of individuals that aren't necessarily giving tours. There's a builder in Venice who's got a home going up right now. So I guess the answer to that is the people are interested in seeing some of these structures. The best time to see it is when it's going up, because once it's finished, you can't tell the difference. It's got drywall, it's got paint, it's got stucco, it's got roofing. It just looks like a normal home. But there are always structures going up, and there's one going up in Venice right now where I could take people to see it, and the owners is very willing to do that.
This seems like such a great alternative, especially with the pricing. And like I said, I get asked it all the time. I've got a client that wants to put one on her property. I got to put her in touch with you. I'm hoping that she jumped on this call. I don't see any more questions, but
There's one on chat. It's
Oh,
is-
okay.
yeah.
Or should
Okay.
I click on the chat?
No, here, is this product able to be modified after the initial build? And if there is a failure in the seams or system as a whole, how is that addressed?
All right, so is it able to be modified? Sure. So this steel structural insulated panel, I'm answering a different question, but I'll get around to it, can be used as an addition and attached to conventional materials, for example. So, and the structure itself, if there's, let's say a window opening is cut wrong. Yes, of course, you can form that, you can use conventional materials to form that window to make it smaller if it was too large. Of course, if it's too small, it's very easy, just cut it, make it larger. In 30 years, there's the system, there's no concern about it failing. If there's a failure in the seams or system as a whole, how is this addressed? Well, you would know before you put it together. If there's some problem with a panel, they're typically 4-foot wide panels and either 1 or 2 stories or 3 stories tall. So you inspect the panel. If there's some dent or the connection system doesn't work, then you get that panel replaced before you complete the construction. But there would not be a failure after construction. I describe it very much like an airplane construction. It's lightweight material, but connected in 1,000 places. So it's sort of like monocoque construction. And this is why it's very good for seismic and for wind. It's all knitted together. The walls, the roof, the slab, everything's connected all the way to the slab from the roof.
Do you work in the Southeast Florida area?
Yes.
Now, do these get channeled to the appropriate counties? Like if you were going to do one in Manatee County,
Sure.
they're permitted through Manatee County?
Yes, of course. So again, the plans, it all starts with plans. We identify the plans that the client wants, quote the project. Engineered drawings are included so that the client themselves or the contractor can submit that to the county. And a lot of these counties have fast track approval for energy efficient buildings, which is one of the reasons we recommend the Florida Green Building Coalition certification on all these homes and ADUs. So Sarasota, City of Sarasota for sure has, and I think the county also, they'll put you in the front of the line. You have something like a 5 or 10 day permit versus months with conventional construction.
Yeah, they do. They do. I wish Manatee would do that. One of them says they're in Sarasota and they'd like to view the one in Venice. So when we get to the end of this, your contact information will be available.
Yes.
Okay.
And I see the other question, have you been permitted in any county in South Florida? Well, Sarasota,
Yeah.
Charlotte, I would say every county in South Florida.
And how much time from order to site delivery of a system?
The shell materials will take somewhere in the 4 to 6 week range from order to delivery. So we're going to be ready long before your site is ready. If you order those materials, you got your building plan done, you got to get site work done, you got to get the slab done. 4 to 6 weeks, the wall and roof materials will be ready.
Okay.
And yes, Broward, Dade, Palm Beach, these systems have been used throughout. I see that question.
Okay, and CJD wants to ask a question. She's our chair for this committee, and I don't know how to mute her. I mean, unmute her.
Not mute herself. I think she's just clearing the questions. That's why that's showing up.
Okay.
I can ask a question though.
Okay, cool.
What about North Florida? Do you service all of Florida?
Service all of Florida, Georgia. We've got another partner that's through a contractor that's here in Florida. We've got a general contractor in Alabama that can take it from there into the Southeast. And outside that area, because some people have homes up north, they may want to add an ADU there. We can ship the materials there, and the manufacturer of the panels will send an experienced contractor to train the local crews. You really only need a carpenter and a power drill to install this system. It's very low skilled labor, but we'll send a supervisor anywhere in the country when one of these is going up.
Because they said, have you been permitted in any counties in South Florida, Palm Beach, Broward, Miami, Dade?
Yes, all of the above.
Cool. this is a nice alternative. I may do one on my property, Matt. I might be back in touch with you.
We also, I didn't mention, or maybe I didn't read every line of my presentation, but we have financing partners also that understand panel home construction, and they're somewhat different draws because all those materials are ordered up front, the walls and the roof, as opposed to the multiple different trades. So if people need financing, we can refer them to 2 different sources as well.
Cool, cool. Let me see. I don't see any other questions. Do you get a lot of questions about ADUs where you are? She's got to unmute herself.
No, I don't, but they're legal in St. Johns County, but you're not allowed to rent them. They can only be for like an in-law situation.
Oh, I don't think there's any stipulations down here. Matt, what's the lead time that you need?
I thought I just answered that one. Lead time is about 4 to 6 weeks from order to delivery of materials.
And there was another question.
Do we track which localities allow or prohibit ADUs? I read the news when these things come up, but if somebody has a project in a particular county, we would certainly help do the lifting and contact the county and find out what the regulations are and approvals are required.
I'll have to get with you and Albert. Albert and I, our MLS, which covers more than 1/3 of the state of Florida, greened our MLS back in 2011, and we try to update fields to accommodate for that. I need to touch base, Albert and I, with you to make sure if there's any fields we can be adding for the ADUs.
Very good.
I like the use of the splitters because I think they are energy efficient, and I think they use in a lot of existing homes that are smaller.
Agreed.
They're
very energy efficient too. It's actually hard to get a standard, conventional condenser air handler system. It'd be very expensive to make them as energy efficient as most of the basic mini splits, because Mitsubishi's are like 20 SEER with no extra costs.
Yeah. I don't know if we have any other realtors on the call to see if they have.
Maybe there's 2 other questions in the question and answer.
Okay, the EcoSmart.org website is not working for me. Where can I see the floor plans?
What website did they try to go to? Eco-smart.org?
Yeah.
There we go.
Let me see what that's what they used.
Let me try it, see what's going on.
And are owner builders able to purchase their own windows and install?
Yes.
And then another one said, we're promoting ADUs through a partnership with GC and nonprofit. Is that something your business works with?
Of course.
Okay. That's good.
So I see that that's correct. We don't usually give out, eco-smart.org is my email address, but that is not the website. Eco-smart.com. Make sure that's working today. Yeah, that's the problem.
Okay. Is this going to be a northern cold weather area? Oh, wait a minute. If this were going in a northern cold area, can a wood stove be added?
Yes. Yeah, there's nothing that you can do with a conventional structure that you can't do with a SIP structure. It's just a different structural system, and once it's finished, you can heat it, cool it, dry it, light it, power it, and conventionally.
Okay, cool. Let me see. Does anybody else have questions? I really sincerely appreciate you doing this presentation for us, because like I said, I think a lot of people are asking about the ADUs, and you know, and the fact that they can be certified by FGBC is great. I think one of the questions that got deleted was asking about adding it to an existing home, like an addition.
Mhm.
Can these be done like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can attach this structural system to wood. You can attach it to concrete. It's just a connection, a channel, a metal connection channel. Off you go.
Okay. Now, one of them asked, he logged in late. And you can actually go within the next 24 to 48 hours, this will be available. This webinar will be available on our website, FGBC's website. And he gave a spreadsheet on the costs that were involved. A really good breakdown per square foot. There's like 4 different models he gave it for. And I hope that answers that without going back to that sheet.
Yeah, it's paid. That costing is on page 22, screen 22 of that presentation.
Okay. Can you
Right
bring
after the smallest ADU. I go through the different ADU sizes, going down to 192, and then the next slide is the costing.
Okay. Okay. And let me think what else. If this were going in, okay, has this been used by governments or NGOs for affordable housing?
Yes.
Wow, that's a good question.
It sure has. And you know, my company is a service disabled veteran owned business. I'm the service disabled veteran, and we've been trying to develop programs with the VA to create affordable housing for disabled veterans at various places around the country, including California, where they've got a lot of land. They got a VA hospital and a lot of land. So we're trying to pull together investors, and we have builders and materials to create this you know, green affordable housing.
That'd be
Absolutely.
great to do a
Yep.
neighborhood of this,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I think we've got money coming down. CJ, what was that money that was going to be coming into the counties for affordable housing?
Well, there's two different, there's counties affected by the Hurricane Ian will have some disaster recovery funds, but then there's the Live Local Act, which is actually providing also dollars for affordable housing.
So Sheila asked a question about flood resiliency. Have you looked at elevation of the structures? Of course. So whatever your floodplain requirements are, if you have to be up 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet, the Rick Cartel, who's our architect in the Bahamas, I've mentioned several times, his home is 18 feet above ground because it's right on the water in the Bahamas, and they wanted to get way above any potential flood. But yeah, you can build this on piers, and then they can have a wood structure, and then go up from there, or you could have the structural panel as the floor system as well.
Okay. Dee, did you get that answer? One of them asked how they access the webinar on our website.
Yeah, I posted the link to the YouTube page. I'll post it in the chat also.
Okay, cool. Cool. And Dee is our chair, as I mentioned. She's our chair for this committee. And we're just trying to keep everybody informed as far as the realtor goes, the appraisers, the lenders, the general public. And so we do these webinars once a month on topics that people are actually asking us about. And this is one that we've been asked about a lot. Let me see if we've covered everybody. Do you track them? Soundproofing. I like the soundproofing one though.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've covered everything. Indeed, put the website in to access this webinar.
See that? And also our website, which I appreciate.
And then you've got your contact information for EcoSmart, don't you? I know you've got your I know you've got your contacts down on your card. And like I said, I think I'm going to be in touch with you regarding doing one for myself here. Because I think they're great. And you know, when people are thinking about doing mother-in-law suites, which is what some of my clients are doing, these are so I mean, they're so energy efficient, hurricane resistant, that I would think people would be more and more prone to do this than do, you know, additions on their house. Although I didn't realize that you can actually do an addition through this too.
You can connect it to your existing house and it still qualifies as an ADU as long as it's within the size requirements of the county.
Let me think. Anybody else have any questions that they want to raise? Matt, I really appreciate you doing this, because these people that present on our Lunch and Learns do this for free. I mean, they take this time out of their schedule to do it, which I really, really appreciate. I've run into Matt a couple times at our, we have a green drinks through the U.S. Green Building Council. So he's involved in all the aspects of green down here. And so, and let me see.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, Peggy. I like to expose what we're doing and what's innovative to the marketplace anytime.
Yeah. And so anybody can reach Matt at mross at eco-smart.org.
Or .com. They're all for an email, and they both work.
Again, you can re-listen to his this webinar on the link that Dee gave you. Where's the link for the presentation? It's in the chat. Let me see. If you scoot up a little bit.
Actually, the presentation isn't in that. Matt, if you're willing to share your presentation, if you can send that to me, I'll send it to everybody at the end.
Okay. You want me to send it to you as a?
Can you just send the PowerPoint to me, or
sure,
or PDF it if you'd prefer? And
what
then
do you
I'll
prefer?
PDF would be great. Less
Okay, I'll
memory.
do that.
All right, thanks.
Oh, that will be great. All right. Well, Matt, I appreciate that too.
Sure.
And I appreciate you guys working on the practice session yesterday without me.
It helped.
Yeah. Let me see. Thank you. As a senior, it is difficult to build homes under 200,000. Troubling that Northport. Let me see if that was in Northport. Troubling that Northport only approves homes that are 900 square foot. I would have considered a tiny home. Oh my gosh, do you run into that?
I haven't, but you know, so a 900 square foot home and 250. Just doing some quick math here.
I'll have to check with our county. I don't think they give us a limit on the size of the home.
Yeah, that would be for Deborah, 900 square feet based on the prices that I was showing with the ADUs would probably be a little over 200,000, but not too much more. Looks like it's still running about maybe 240 a square foot, all finished.
Okay. Got that. So have I answered everybody's questions? What impact fee would qualify as prefab or single?
It's not prefab, it's a single family home. Prefab would be something like a mobile home that's made offsite and just dropped on complete. It's not that. It's on-site, manufactured. I think for loan purposes it might be called modular construction because a lot, you know, the panels are cut off site, but not prefab.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. And I think we've got everybody else. Again, please take the survey at the end of this because it helps us plan for future webinars. And Matt, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody jumping on this call. And you've learned something new today. And Matt's your guy if you want a prefab, and I mean a prefab ADU. And I think I'll be touching base with you soon. And
thank you.
And I appreciate it. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, wait a minute. I think we got one more question. where's the factory located?
There are actually two factories that make the secure lock for us, depending upon the project timing. One is here in Florida in Oldsmar, and the other is in Georgia, just outside Atlanta. So they're both fairly local to us for shipping.
Cool. Okay. So did I answer everybody's questions? I think so. And again, thanks for your time. Matt, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Peggy.
And watch for our my Facebook will announce these. And Matt, again, thanks so much.
Okay, everyone have a great weekend.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.